Okay, sorry. I'll repeat myself. I'll call this meeting to order at whatever time it is. Planning committee, we're calling to order. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
I agree. Agenda is approved. Is there any public comment? I don't see any members of the public online or in the room. So we'll wait the public comment. Approval of the minutes.
Move to approve, Brennan, second.
Second.
Okay, minutes are approved. Do we have any new business to add? No. Old business, the Meditech update?
Through the chair, Chris Letterman's not here today because he's down supporting the ED Meditech module go live, which has occurred today. The switch occurred on time, actually a few minutes early, because it made sense with the patient flow that they had. Chris and the project team are down in the ED helping out. They've got 24/7. We're in the initial phase of the go live plan. 24/7 support during this phase with Meditech, Sericor, and also Bartlett IT personnel supporting that. I did get a chance to discuss with Chris this morning, and he reported out at the daily safety huddle that things are essentially going as anticipated. Anytime we make a change like this, there's going to be some anxiety and at times frustration, but things are going well so far. No unexpected circumstances. And he reported at that point that the first patients had already made their way all the way through discharge at that point. So the team's going back and making sure that everything is connecting properly on the billing side, both for GEMA's piece of that and for the hospital's piece of that. But we anticipate over the next several weeks there being a significant amount of additional help down there to smooth things out. But the project is moving forward as planned. Any questions on
How long, do we know how long the support, I know we saw
Yeah.
I don't have the report memorized that had the timelines, but this first phase, how long do we?
Sure. So in the initial phase, it actually started a few days before the go live. And that's with approximately 7 personnel on site just supporting the 24/7 kind of elbow to elbow operation. Phase 2 will start on the 7th of December. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a slow transition from this being contracted personnel primarily providing the support to clinical IS and other IT department folks providing the support. So that'll go all the way through the 16th of December with a combination of contractor and IT personnel providing that 24/7 support. And then the plan is as of the 17th of December, that responsibility primarily transitioning over to Bartlett employees. However, there are additional hours, I believe it's up to 400 hours of additional contracted support that we can make use of. So
That are remote.
and we could have some personnel on site during that time as well. The main help there is to be able to address those problems in real time that come up. And in some of those cases, you've got to have those people here in person to do that. So, and, we'll continue. This is going to be a hot topic here in the hospital over the next several weeks. And so we can pass on additional information. But no news will be good news. How about that? Otherwise, you'll hear it.
Are there any questions about the ED Meditech module? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Let's talk about the ED renovation.
Through the chair, I do have updated information on this. This Tuesday, we had our official kickoff meeting. We had a pre-kickoff meeting several weeks ago, but our official kickoff meeting with a broader group of internal stakeholders, and that took place this Tuesday. We're scheduled to meet again next week to plan out our next stakeholder meeting. we were just with scheduling and when nursing staff was going to be, getting off of shifts and things like that. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get all of the folks that we wanted in that meeting. We're going to have another meeting in the near future, and we're meeting next week to plan that out. We also made a mistake and inadvertently didn't invite one of our physician stakeholders that we need to participate in that. So we did have ED physician support in that first meeting. I think it was a really good meeting. We got a lot of good work done for some of the ancillary services taking place down there. For example, we need to have a more pronounced security presence in the ED. We're going to be shifting where some of the PAS, the registration folks, are going to be performing their duties, and we got a lot of really great feedback from that group. So all indications are, we're getting the buy-in that we need to move forward. We're looking to the changes that we have made or the slight adjustments that we have made we're not anticipating significant changes in the cost or anything. This is all within what we had already planned out, but off to a good start. And once I'm hopeful that we can really finish up with the stakeholder buy-in piece of this within the next month or so. At that point, there still is quite a bit of actual design work for the design team to do to get us to the 65% stage, but we're on schedule. In addition, I do want to state, Mr. President, thank you for signing that letter today. We have formally submitted the request for additional funding as a part of the CPJ FY25 legislative capital priorities process. So, there's going to be a lot of internal reviews and opportunities to understand, how the Assembly otherwise intends to prioritize that project. But as we get more information, I'll share those updates with the group. And unless there's any questions, that's all I had for an update for today.
Okay, any questions? I have a quick one. Refresh my memory. I should have brought my folder with me. Our target date for having the 65% complete, will we meet our grant deadline for the Denali Commission?
I'll have to get back to you on the specific target date for 65% design completion, but I can answer your next question, which unless something radical changes, yes, we will have 65% design completed by the time we otherwise need to submit our request for the Denali Commission funding. I probably am going to need to talk with Joe and talk with our grants manager. Last time we submitted that request, through a specific program for infrastructure that Denali Commission puts out every year. But we may want to just talk about, is that going to be that pot going to be our best bet to request out of again? But no, that all happens at the same time. So we'll definitely be ready to say that we're shovel ready, if you will, when we put that grant request in.
I do have one question related to the capital funds request. I apologize. I'm finding it cold, so keep this on and talk loud, I guess. We were essentially invited or encouraged by our assembly liaison the other evening at the board meeting to consider. He said, "Well, I don't know why you don't apply for the full $4 million." And was any consideration given to that? Because I know since his invitation, because I know our estimates of cost for the project necessarily are not real tight at this point. And if there seemed to be a sense that they'd be receptive to that, if we didn't need it and it was offered to us, we wouldn't take all of it or we wouldn't spend it, whatever. But I just wondered about that because it seemed like maybe it would have been a good idea.
There's been a fair amount of conversation about it. And it revolves around, do we ask for more than we need? than we expect based on our current information, even with a contingency in there? Or do we give ourselves a little bit of cushion, which is my understanding we have done with the $2 million in the current funding that we have? So if something has changed, I mean, I think it's too late, isn't it? Or do we have the opportunity to adjust that? But that was the rationale, that the funding that we expected would cover the construction costs and the design and other stuff. And the $2 million would cover the furniture, fixtures, and equipment with some cushion, with a contingency in there, because we expected with the full project, the full $18 million project, we expected the furniture, fixtures, and equipment to be around $2 million.
And I do reply, I do remember that discussion. I'm aware of that. It's just that, for example, some of the other funding applications, we don't know for sure that we'll get all of them. And so it's just sort of hedging our bets.
So there's
No, go ahead.
So there's a couple of schools of thought, and I think that we've talked about this in finance, and we've talked about this here in this meeting too. So the first school of thought is kind of like what you said. Let's ask for the $4 million. We asked for $4 million last time, and we went to like the bottom of the list. Here we can show them we have $2 million from here. We have $4 million from the not the grant, the bond that we got. We have another $2 million that hopefully we're going to get from Denali. We got some money that we're coming from the feds. So we want you guys to put $2 million in, and this will make us whole to be able to do this project. If we ask for $4 million, we're actually showing them, well, we're actually asking you for $2 million more than we want for the project. So that's great. And Wade said, oh, you guys should do that. But our thoughts, and we talked about this as a group, our thoughts were that we just asked for what we need, because if we ask for what more, then we kind of say, no, we're not going to give you that more. We're going to put you kind of at the bottom of our list. Another thing too is that this is for FY 2025. Okay. Mm-hmm. So in FY 2025, this project, no matter what, will not be finished. So we're going to go back and again be able to see, okay, well, we got our 65% done here. We've got our Denali thing. We're getting the $2 million from you guys now. Now, for FY 26, we can ask again for another $2 million and say, hey, this is the history of this. This is where we're at. We really need another $2 million. Construction costs went up. These kind of costs went up. So I think that that's kind of what our thought process was when we asked for this $2 million. Now, if it's okay, Max, if it's okay with you, Max, talk on this too a little bit?
He had his hand up and took it down.
Yeah, Kenny, you covered what I was going to say, so there's no reason to add to it. It's a credibility thing, I think. It's just we have an amount that we know that we need to throw more at the wall. On top of that is it's not credible in my view, and we need as much as we can build it credibility downtown.
Okay, no, and I hear that and I agree. If we can't find some way to justify the amount, I guess that's good. But I think it might not hurt in putting in the application to get some credit for trying to be as fiscally tight as we can by pointing out that this is what we estimate our needs are right now. We can't be sure that some of the soft money, anything we haven't gotten a signed grant award for, is soft money. We can't be absolutely sure, so it may be necessary for us to come back because our reserves are depleted almost, and just kind of put them on alert, have it kind of documented or there that we might need to come back. But right now, this is what we're asking for, to be conservative. Whatever. That's just a thought. Thank you.
We actually don't do our own pitch, do we?
Well, I don't know if we do our own pitch, but there's a few things, I know that during the course of the year, we talk with assembly people, we have joint meetings, and I think our joint meeting is gonna be fairly close to the year. So during that meeting, I'm sure we're gonna really talk a little bit about this. Our legislation doesn't go into session till like the 18th, I think. So I believe that between now and when this really comes on the actual list, we're going to have time to be able to really talk with our assembly members and make sure that we're explaining this process to them correctly. I know today, I spoke to Greg Smith a little bit about it and talked to Wade some about it too. So it's good that anybody that gets an opportunity to talk to our assembly members, that we explain this is what we're doing. And again, too, I fully agree with what Max says about gaining credibility with downtown, to making sure that we're not just asking because, we asked 4 million last time, we're just going to transfer it over here. This is what we need today. And you're right, in the future, 2026, I believe we're going to have to ask again for more, or it's a possibility.
You had something to add?
Through the chair, I was just going to say, in the initial information that the city sent out about this, they did provide a timeline for which committees of the assembly and when the assembly would be reviewing these steps as well. So I think there would be opportunity for other feedback. I would imagine if they have any questions, they would reach out and ask those questions, and we'll be prepared to answer any of those questions as well.
I think last time we did go in front, excuse me, I'm not actually through the chair. I think last time we did go in front of us and we were able to talk about it. I remember speaking about this. So.
Okay. Any more questions about the motion? Okay, I think, what comments from the board or others? I think we've come to the end of our agenda. What time is the meetings?
12:30 is.
Okay. Well, good. We have time for a break. Next meeting is scheduled for Friday, January 5th. Does that work for actually, we're not sure who the committee members are going to be yet, or are we going to have the existing committees stand? Do we know what? I can't remember what we did last year.
Last year, I had them all new by January 1st.
Okay.
So as soon as whoever the elected president will be.
Perfect.
And you may determine you don't need one.
Yeah.
That's true.
But if we do, I'm here.
Okay, me too.
I love it.
All right. We are adjourned. We have 10 minutes before the next meeting starts.
So for you, is there part of